Hello friends, I'm Rosa, welcome. So I'm finally doing the wrap-ups that I didn't do for October and November. The thing is, I read like 2 graphic novels and then also 3 books from the same series in October. And so I felt like it wasn't really enough for a wrap-up because it would have been like over with very quickly. It would have been like TikTok video long. And so I decided to I've done this a couple of times throughout the year, decided to just save those videos and then include them in the wrap-up that I was gonna do for November. I didn't read a whole lot in November either because I had computer issues and they're stressing me out, causing my work to take a long time. And then all of a sudden, my computer was sent off to repairs and I had so much time on my hands. So I binged like 4 books or something in like no time. So I have books to talk about. We're talking about books today. I will make sure to leave links to all of them in the description box if you want to go check them out, because I know that my summaries get a little bit chaotic sometimes. They're a little bit all over the place, so if you want more info on the books, definitely go check them out. With that said, shall we get started? We're starting with the graphic novels that I read first, I think, because... oh! One of my bookmarks. Well, that's good to know where that was. Who is it? It's this fancy guy. Anyway, we're starting with the graphic novels. So I wanted to go all in on like very specific books for October because that just makes sense. And then I didn't. But I did read the 2 graphic novels that I mentioned that I was going to read, or 2 of them at least. I think I skipped on Frankenstein. That's fine. I've always said that my TBRs are kind of just like guidelines. If I want to not follow them, then that's completely okay as well. I did, however, read Fangs by Sarah Anderson, which is a very short, very cute graphic novel about, in short, a vampire and a werewolf that start dating, and it's got like little puns throughout it, it's got little jokes throughout it, and it's very, very cute. It's not like, it's just fun and fluffy and light. It's not thought-provoking, it's not, it's just, you know, quick entertainment and a bit of a comfort read as well, to be honest. So I think I want to reread this every October or something. I gave it 5 stars because I just really adored it. I think I'm gonna show you if I can find a little bit that is safe to show. Okay, yeah. So it's like, it's stuff like this. It's like this throughout the whole thing. Just like, it's not necessarily like a full-on story, A, B, C, D. It's more like little jokes. And it's just cute. I really adored this. So she's a keeper. She's gonna stay in my collection, and I would recommend this to every soul out there because it's so cute. At least if you want like cute, fluffy, entertaining, jokey graphic novels, I suppose. Then I also read, and this was a little bit of an undertaking, From Hell by Alan Moore and Eddie Campbell. And this is... one thing you have to know about Alan Moore is that he's heavy on the text. So for graphic novels, he is very like... there's a lot of talk, a lot of dialogue. It is sort of a retelling, or could you call it that, of what's going on with Jack the Ripper in England, in Victorian England. More specifically London, I suppose. But it's a bit odd at times. Like, there are certain things, I watch a lot of true crime here on YouTube. And so I've watched several videos on Jack the Ripper, and it's a very interesting case because it's never really been solved. And so I think that's one of the reasons they picked that one, or maybe he was inspired by it or something to write a full story about it, because they've never really, you know, singled out someone and said that's the killer. So there's a lot of people from back then that are included in this, such as, let's just, like, the royal family. There's the end papers are all the portraits. Oscar Wilde is in there for like 5 seconds. There's people that you know from, you know, the actual thing that happened. Mary Kelly, for example, but also his other victims are also mentioned. And at times it's a little bit strange. There's commentary on how it was back then because a lot of people were living in poverty. And poverty? I cannot English today. Poverty. Thank you. It's like I say things and then I realize after, like, that's not how the word is. I'm just tired, okay? It's fine. We'll get through this. It'll be okay. But a lot of people living in poverty, sorry, I have to, this book's so heavy. It's like, it's so heavy. I feel like I'm weightlifting at the moment. But yeah, a lot of like commentary on poverty, but also interesting little facts about different parts of London as well, and some of them may have been given a little bit of a twist. But yeah, the ending was a little bit strange. I'm not going to say anything about it, obviously, because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but there was, like, I don't know. It was a little bit weird. Oh, also, by the way, you basically follow, I wouldn't necessarily say there is one lead in this book, because you do change perspectives, but for a lot of it you actually do follow the killer, the guy who ends up being the killer, even though at the same time you're also following the people that are trying to solve it, and also the victims, or the would-be victims. And also the master edition that I have is colorized, so there's like very vague, very subtle coloring, especially in some of the pages. It's like specifically red, which makes sense because it's a Jack the Ripper, what would you call that, interpretation or something. There's a little bit of blue on this page, for example. So just like some pages have like they're very focused on like specific colors, and it's quite interesting to watch. But yes, I can't remember what I gave this, but I really enjoyed it. I think somewhere between 4 and 5. I will say certain parts of it felt a little bit long drawn, and like I didn't need all that information, or because I don't really necessarily trust the character that's giving me the information anyway, so I don't know if you're just like putting text in there just to have text in there. Like, I don't, am I making sense right now? So that was a thing, but overall I did really enjoy it. I read a little bit, like, you call them volumes every night for however many volumes there are in the story. I don't actually know, because this was split up into chapters, I should say. So, but yes, it was good. Dark as hell. I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. But yeah, would definitely also consider rereading this in the future. You're not really like, it's not a mystery per se, because you already sort of know. There's a mystery aspect to it, I suppose, but like you already know who the killer is because you're following him. You're actually seeing him doing the deeds, and so that part of the mystery is not really like, it's removed, so it would be rereadable. At least for someone like me, I don't like to reread mysteries because like I already know. Like I'll remember, I already know. I don't need to. So there has to be something else to the story that makes me want to reread it, and I think I could definitely go into this again in the future. So those were the graphic novels, and now we have a 4-book, actually it's not a 4-book series. I think it's supposed to be 5 books, but I thought it was a 4-book series. And then I got to the ending of the 4th book and I'm like, actually I think, so let me just tell you what series I'm talking about first. Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen, which is a sister duo. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It doesn't normally look like this, but it looks like this. So if you've seen this cover, you might, or the UK cover might also be the UK cover. I have the Fairy Loot edition, though I did not read this. I read it on Kindle because it is on KU. It's very much like in-your-face romantasy, and also a why choose romance. So we have stuff to talk about, okay? I decided to read this. I basically devoured this. I think we were supposed to do like a read along with it with a book club, and then I just ended up binging because I couldn't stop myself. I really enjoyed it. It was like very easy to read. The first one is a very clear retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Like, it almost follows a formula. Not in like a boring way, to me at least. I really enjoyed it, but we might have different opinions on that. So in short, we follow our lead girl who lives with her father, who is a little bit peculiar. Let's call him peculiar. And he's very set on finding his wife / our lead girl's mother, because 25 years ago she went missing. And so he's basically dedicated his life to trying to find the mother or his wife. And that means he goes traveling a lot, but also to sell these, I can't remember exactly what it is he sells, but he sells something. So on one of these trips before he goes, the daughter's like, could you bring me back a rose? And he's like, of course, I will bring you back a rose. So he goes to try and get a rose, but ends up getting kidnapped by these monsters at a castle. He's put in the dungeons. And then she's like, I need to find my father. What happened to him? So she goes out. She's got her ex-boyfriend in tow. He's terrible and abusive. We don't like him at all. He's definitely the Gaston, okay, of the story. But I will say, I feel like he's a little bit worse than Gaston. Gaston is just like very... I mean, I'm not excusing Gaston's behavior at all. I find him disgusting, just want to say. However, Lucas in the story takes it further. Okay, Gaston is like possessive and narcissistic compared to Lucas, who's just like, just dial it up a little bit for him, I think. Yeah. So they go to see if they can find her father and ends up at the same castle where she finds out he's been taken prisoner by these people or these monsters. They're wolves, big wolves. And she basically ends up trading places with him at the castle. And so she's suddenly a prisoner instead of him and decides, well, maybe I should try to befriend these monsters, who turns out to be Fey princes during the day. So it's only at night that they're wolves. And she's like, okay, I'm going to befriend them. We're going to see how it goes. If I'm going to spend my time here, I should probably like get comfortable or something like that. And so it's about her building relationships with these Fey princes. There may be mating bonds included as well, so if that's not your thing, you stay away from this series. I personally don't mind them. I haven't read a whole lot of books with with mating bonds, so I don't really, they don't irk me yet, at least. Like, I don't know, I can't tell the future. But that's the first one. I cannot tell you exactly what goes on in the sequels because I don't want to spoil anything. However, only the first one really follows the formula of Beauty and the Beast, so the sequels are different. And then I read 1, 2, 3 in October, and then I think my computer issues started, and that just means like work takes a long time because technical difficulties. I love working around those. I love it so much. And so I didn't get a chance to pick up the fourth one until November. And I think at some point, maybe it was like, was it 20% into the book? I was like, this doesn't feel like the last book in a series. But I was like, no, maybe it could change. Before that, I got to the 50% mark, and I'm still like, I don't think so. I'm not sure that I'm not sure that this is gonna be the end of the book. And I was still in denial up until like 90%. I'm like, maybe this isn't the last book in the series. So there's not going to be 4, there's at least going to be 5. But I thought the entire series was finished. This is like pure entertainment. It's not like beautiful prose. It's not, at least not the first one, it's not super original. I feel like a lot of romantasy that you can read on KU, if you end up reading a lot of it, it kind of just like all blends together a little bit because a lot of it ends up being a little bit the same. But as someone who just sometimes just like needs entertainment, it did its thing, is what I'm trying to say. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed trying to guess. I enjoyed the little games. One of the princes especially has he's playing with the others a little bit, and I very much enjoyed his addition. I was kind of like, oh, I can't tell you. I like the addition of him. Or actually, I can say I kind of suspected that he was going to be a smaller part of the story, and then he ended up not being a small part of the story. So I think I can say that. That's not really a spoiler. He ends up sticking around, which I like. So will I say that this is perfect? No, it's definitely not. But it's just like entertaining. It's not supposed to, at least I don't think so, it's supposed to make you think big thoughts. Like, it's not supposed to, you know what I mean, right? It's just like, oh, I want something fluffy and something funny and something maybe like a little bit smutty as well, because we are dealing with why choose romance. It's kind of inevitable. And this did its thing. It had a purpose, it fulfilled it, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. Also, I hate Lucas. There are certain frustrating things about the series as well, but overall I don't think they are deal breakers for me. And also, one of the things that I really like about why I choose romances is that generally the ones that I've read, at least, which is not a whole lot. I think like 2 or 3. I've read this one, Broken Bonds. Oh, I've read Kate James as well. Or Tate James? Is her name Kate or Tate? Is it Tate? No, it's Kate. Man, what? I haven't read a whole lot of them, okay? But I do appreciate that for all those that I've read, the guys have very clear, like, differences to them. So in this one, I feel like I can tell you, at least I'm going to tell you without spoiling anything. So we have the 4 main guys. I will actually show you because they are portrayed in the end pages here of the Fairy Loot edition. So we have Kildarian, who's like grumpy as just, yeah, he's very, very grumpy. He's also the I will not let you close to me kind of type. Then we have Esrin, who is, oh, he's the Winter Court prince, by the way. Esrin is the prince of the Spring Court. And he's always masked. The only way he can take off his mask is if he finds his mate. So he's always wearing like at least a mask, but most of the time also an armor. Then in the back, we also have Fallon, who is the guy here. He is the Autumn Court Prince. He's the nerdy, kind of shy guy. And then lastly, we have I'm sorry, I keep like, his shorter name is Dayton, but Daytonalis. He's the Summer Prince. Here we have the sisters, by the way. They're not in the book, but they are the authors. Just want to let you guys know. I think it's so cute that it's a pair of sisters that wrote it. I don't know. I have 2 sisters, so I appreciate any like sister bonds that I come across in the bookish community. I'm like, yes, sisters. Anyway, with that out of the way, Dayton is the Summer Prince, and or the Prince of the Summer Court. And he's a little bit of like I'm gonna keep everyone at bay while flirting with them, like that kind of guy. He's also a little bit of a man slut. It's like, I'm gonna put it like it is. It's fine. A bit of a man slut. We don't judge. Do whatever you want. But definitely has his walls up, and just trying to keep everyone at bay, or away from him, not get them too close. In a different way than Kildarian, I suppose, but they kind of both like try to like push people away. All 4 as well have their own family issues as well with the royal families in the different courts. So there's a whole lot of stuff to dive into. But yeah, I really enjoy the like with Why Choose that the love interests are often sometimes kind of tropey, but also they're just different, a lot different from each other. I find that very funny. So that was, wait, what is it called? Beasts of the Briar, that's what it's called. And that means we have 1 more fantasy book to talk about, and then 3 romances. Although I would say 2 romances, and then one of them is a novella. So I read A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross, which is the sequel to A River Enchanted. These are adult fantasy with romance in them. They are about this like island so our lead character's name is Jack, and he left the island a while ago. He went to the mainland to play music, to study music as well, I think, and then he was called back because this island is like ridden with issues. So there's this clan thing. The east part of the island is led by I can't remember their names. And then the west part of the island is led by the other clan. And they are constantly butting heads with each other. There's a thing with like spirits as well. It's a little bit abstract, like a tiny bit abstract. I still don't fully get it. Maybe it's because I kind of forgot exactly the little nitty-gritty details from A River Enchanted. And I didn't really get them explained again in A Fire Endless, so in my head it's a little bit abstract, but that's okay. So anyway, Jack has been at the mainland, and the only way to like communicate with the spirits is through music, and this requires a bard. Jack is a bard, but he's been at the mainland, so he has been called back to the island by the leader of is it the East or the West? This is gonna bother me so much. East. By the leader of the East. Because girls, or children, I don't think it's necessarily just girls, let's just say children, are going missing, and so they need to communicate with the spirits to figure out what's actually happening to these girls, because it's all very mysterious. And so he comes back, and it's about him and the leader, who used to be like a childhood rival of his, sort of. His nemesis is what they call each other, I think. They also have like a love thing, by the way. But they have to work together to figure out what's going on with the spirits and the missing children. And then there's another couple as well, and I cannot recall exactly what their spot or place is in this first book, so I'm very hesitant to tell you guys because I don't want to spoil anything, but they are important, especially in part 2, this book. Also, I actually liked their relationship a little bit better than the main relationship. I don't know, it's not that Jag and Adira, yeah, are boring in any way. It's just that I just like the other one a little bit better for some reason. I don't know. So anyway, I really loved A River Enchanted. I think I got a little bit tired during parts of A Fire Endless, but overall, I actually did really enjoy it. I cannot remember. I think it was all that talk about poison. Kind of a little bit like, you guys are frustrating me, like, can we just not? I don't know, it was like stuff like that. And then also on top of that, some of the spirit talk got a little bit abstract to me, and I think that's fully on me though. But like overall, this duology is so beautifully written. Rebecca Ross has definitely become one of the authors that I just trust. So with both Dreams Lie Beneath and also Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, definitely has become an author that I like trust, that I would just like read whatever they're releasing, so, or whatever she's releasing. So I'm not disappointed by this in any way whatsoever, just want to say. It was not a 5-star read, but I was not disappointed with it in any way whatsoever. I really did enjoy it. Also, this edition is so cute. Can I show you guys? I think so. This is it Jack or is it the other? Oh, no. The first book has Jag and Adira as the end pages, and this is, I cannot remember their names, but this is the other couple, and they're so cute, and I love them. Even though parts of it, like, oh, actually I can't tell you, I'm sorry. I'm gonna, nope, we're not saying anymore. A lot of questions being asked in the first book that you do get answers to, so I feel like not really anything like left, you know. And I was also, it's a satisfactory ending to the duology as well. It was wrapped up in a nice way. So, A Fire Endless. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really have much to say, but sequels are actually really difficult to talk about. I think the only thing is that it was a little bit longer than maybe I felt like it needed to be, but that might just be a me thing. Then I read Make This Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake, which I think I'm opening today because it's in the November Afterlight and I haven't opened it yet. It is a holiday romance, although I will say I don't feel like it necessarily needed to be a holiday romance. It doesn't really have anything to do with Christmas. I went into it thinking that it was going to have to do with Christmas. It's in the title, kind of. The cover as well gives Christmassy vibes. Like, it's green and then there's some dark red on it, and also just, it gives Christmassy vibes, like, you know what I mean. But, okay, let me tell you exactly why, but it does require me to tell you what it's about. So, we follow these two girls that used to have a very, like, they used to date in the past. To the point where they're actually engaged and they were going to get married, but then one of them left the other on the day of their wedding. So yes, that's where we're at. They left the other one on the day of the wedding, because this is a second chance romance. Okay? I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. So fast forward, like, let's just say 5 years. I can't remember exactly how long. They are not talking to each other at all. However, they are friends with, there's a pair of sisters, and they just happen to be friends with a sister each without them knowing that they're actually in the same circle, sort of. And so when these two sisters are invited home for Christmas, they decide to bring some friends because these friends don't really have anywhere else to be during Christmas, and so they go home to the sister's mother. The sister's mother has this like thing planned for Christmas that's called 12 days of, something with 12 days, I can't remember. Where basically, and it's so strange to me, it's so strange to me, it's like a dating event, or is it just 7 days? Like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's like a dating event over Christmas where you're supposed to find like your better half over Christmas in a very short amount of time as well. Might have just that, but like during Christmas. I'm like, really? And that's all it has to do. Like, that's the only connection it has to Christmas. It's that this event that the mother has planned, which I've never heard of before because I'm pretty sure it's fictional, takes place during Christmas. But like other than that, they don't really celebrate Christmas. The day of Christmas in the book is like 3 pages and that's it. There's no like Christmassy traditions, no talking about presents, nothing like... So the Christmas vibes, I don't know why this needed to be said during the holidays. I don't know. Honestly, it could be at any other point over the year and it could just be like, well, a mother has planned this thing, by the way. So anyway, but yeah, obviously the 2 girls run into each other because now they're stuck in the same house. They have to partake in this thing over Christmas, this dating thing, and they're introduced to the different people. So one of them has like a quartet that she plays with. The other one is a musician. She's a songwriter and she used to be in a band that has now blown up, but like they've blown up with a song that she wrote that they stole from her. So there's a whole thing going on there as well. They're both musicians. But yeah, it's about them obviously rekindling what they have and all of that. But I would say I didn't mind the writing so much. Like that's not what I didn't get about the story. It's the Christmas thing that I've already ranted about, but also, and I cannot look past this, if you leave someone on the day of the wedding, right? You must have a pretty good reason. And I feel like maybe that's just me, but I would not be considering second chances, at least not on a whim either. Like a very short, like, oh, so we've hung out for like 7 days. You know what? I kind of want you back. When you left me on our wedding day. Like I would not, that just seems so, and I know romances are often very unrealistic, like let's be real, but this just seems like so far-fetched. I cannot. And this is why second chances, I was reminded why I don't really read a lot of them, why I don't really gravitate towards them, because you need like a really, really good reason to leave the person in the first place for me to be okay with a character taking this person back. And to make it worse, the character that left basically blamed the other person. Like it was, I can't really explain to you why. I don't want to spoil anything, but it was like, I'm just gonna push blame from myself onto you. It's fully your fault, by the way. And I felt like it was very unfair because it didn't really seem like it was the other character's fault. Like they were just being stepped on like a doormat right now. I don't know. I didn't agree with it. I didn't like it. No. So I can't remember what I ended up giving it. I think maybe like 3 or something, because overall I was entertained. I thought some of the humor in it was funny, but there were a couple of things that that irked me. Such as, why is it marketed as a Christmas book when it's not really got anything to do with Christmas? And just the second chance, the reasoning behind it, I just, no. Nope. So, but that was Make the Season Bright, or Make This Season Bright? I can't remember. Make the Season Bright? Maybe. Then I picked the wrong book off my shelves. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I have returned with the right one. I accidentally picked the first book off of my shelves. But I did read Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, which is the sequel to Wild Love. And while I enjoyed Wild Love, I didn't think, I wasn't like wowed by it. It was pleasant, but I wasn't like loving it. I don't know. Also, some things about the daughter in that one seemed a little bit weird and very, very unrealistic again. But this one though, oh, I love this so much. I devoured this. I could not stop reading. I thought it was so cute. So in this one we follow, if you've read Wild Love, it follows Rose and what's his name? Ford? I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, we follow Rose's brother, West, and his 2 children. As not a part of the love relationship, but like they are there. And also there's a new woman has come to town. Her name is Skylar Stone and she's actually a musician. So in my head she does like country pop, but I don't really actually fully know what music she does. I can't remember. I just kind of like decided that she does country pop. So that's whatever I read, I was like, yeah, that's country pop. Anyway, but she's more or less fled to Rose Hill because because life is not easy for her. She's carrying a lot of baggage. She has been basically used by her parents for success throughout most of her life, and after finding out that her boyfriend has more or less been paid to be her boyfriend by her parents just for publicity, she's like, okay, I'm gonna go. So she leaves and goes to Rose Hill. She's decided that she's gone there to record an album with Ford, because he has like a new, if you read Wild Love, he starts, it's a whole like thing about them starting this music recording studio thing, and so Skylar has gone to record at the studio, basically to get away, but also do something for herself, something where her parents can't, and also her agent, they can't have a hand in what she does. She just wants to like fully do something that's hers. And while she's there, because they don't really have any vacancies and like there's not a whole lot of hotels, it's a very small, it's a small town romance. She ends up staying with Rose's brother. If you read the first book as well, Rose stayed in like this outhouse. I don't know. The outhouse is the toilet, isn't it? How do you say this? It's like a renovated garage that's turned into like a bunk bed house or something. So Rose stayed there for a lot of the first book. Skylar's now staying there for parts of the second book. And while she's there, this is on West's property, so she's getting closer to West and also getting closer to his children as well. And there's something blooming from that. West works with horses, by the way, which is also a thing. He's like taming wild horses or something like that. I'm not really sure exactly. Or like taming problem horses. I don't know. Wilder horses, not necessarily wild ones. I can't. Listen, I am from the city in Denmark. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I've touched horses like twice in my life. I literally do not know. And so while it's about Skylar both working through her baggage, which is her parents, her agent, her now ex-boyfriend, her whole career, basically her life, it's also about West finding out that maybe it's okay to get someone through the walls or like behind the walls, because he protects himself also for the sake of his children, which I get. It's funny, like, so just a little side note. I am a child of divorce. My parents divorced when I was 5. So seeing my parents, or at least mostly my dad, kind of like trying to find new partners has been an experience. And I remember every single one that I've been introduced to, because they stick with you. So like, I fully get it when they make it a thing in single parent romances that, well, I just want to make sure that we're okay with, you know, I have children. I don't want to let you close until I know for certain that you're going to stay. I'm not saying that my parents' dating lives have damaged me in any way. just want to say, but like, I get it. Because I also remember the negative things that have been said by said people. So I get it. And I appreciate that it's a thing. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cute. I devoured it. I liked Skylar. I liked her struggles and I didn't like her struggles in that way, but like I liked seeing her, there we go, working through her struggles and like actually like bettering her life and like taking matters into her own hands and fighting for her justice, if you will. And West also just standing up for her and giving her a chance and not, he's a little bit, I guess some people would see him as pushy, but at the same time, I like how he's like, okay, so he's not judging her by her appearance. She's a pop star. I feel like it's very normal to judge people by their appearances and then like take 5 seconds and be like, maybe I should just like rethink this opinion that I made up on a whim. But at no point he's like, okay, I see her dealing with something. I'm just gonna take the right measures to slowly help her work through this. And I just really enjoy that. So he's not scared away, but at the same time also being a little bit protective of his bubble, if you will. I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. It was so nice. So, oh, the lipstick and the bird. Right, Skylar has a bird, by the way. Cover to sign Books and Moods. So now I'm really looking forward to Wild. What's it called? Wild? I pre-ordered it and I don't remember. I can't reach my phone. It's the green one. I'm really looking forward to it. Whenever it's released, I will be there. So, and that leaves us with the last one, which is a novella a Christmas novella actually taking place during Christmas and does have something to do with Christmas. It's by Ali Hazelwood though. Listen, I love Ali Hazelwood. Oh my god, okay. I got an email from, is it a Little Brown, I think? They've pre-approved me for, not wet, D-bend. She wanted to call the book Wet, and then that's not the book we're talking about, by the way, I just want to say. But she wanted to call the book Wet, and then they were like, nope. And so they've ended up changing it to D-bend. But I've been pre-approved for it, and I haven't read it yet because I'm very like, I can't fit it into my reindeer readathon prompts, so I'll have to wait until January because I don't want to mess up the prompts. I don't want to mess up the readathons. I'm in a competition. I don't want to let down my teammates. I am a team player after all, so I'm saving it even though I'm dying to read it. But yes, I'm very excited about that. My point is, I love Ali Hazelwood. So I saw that there was a Christmas novella, written by her on KU, and I was like, okay. Actually, now that I mentioned it, this is on KU as well, just in case you want to read it. But I was like, you know what? I can make time for you, Ali Hazelwood. I will read this novella. I don't necessarily love novellas. I feel like I need to get like properly invested in a story before it really like punches me in the gut. And so novellas are a little bit too short. I think this was on the 70-page length as well, so on the shorter side. But I saw it and I was like, I'll make time for you, Ali. I'll do it for you. And I did enjoy it. Was it light and fluffy? Yes. It's called Cruel Winter with You. And essentially it is about a man and a woman. I'm trying to not say guy and girl. And man and a woman just sounds so, I don't know. I hate it. I don't like it. Anyway, it's about these two people though. And on Christmas Eve, I think, she's been sent to his house where he is alone to pick up like a pot for her dad who's cooking something, and he doesn't have a fitting pot for it. So I think the other house is like their neighbor, or maybe they're just like living closely, and they've been friends for like ages, these two families. So they're like, could you go borrow this pot from them and then bring it back so I can make this food? Because it's Christmas Eve or something like that. And so she goes, and there's a storm and it blows up, and she's like, okay, I have to stay at this house. And so while she's there, they're reminiscing over the past because they have some history. Not like dating history, but there's definitely feelings involved, especially from his side, and she's more like in denial. Essentially. So we go through their history throughout the years while getting like, it's flashbacks and then a little bit talk in the now, and then flashbacks and then talk in the now, and etc, etc, until they find out, you know, it's a romance. And it was cute. I liked it. Again, emotional impact for me. This is why I love slow burns as well. I'm a huge fan of slow burns because I need to be punched in the gut, and the longer, actually, let's just keep them like 500 pages. I was gonna say the longer the slow burn, the better, but like, I feel like a 1,000-page slow burn, too much for me anyway. But a good, nice, long slow burn really ends up punching me in the gut, and I'm like, yes, 70 pages doesn't really do it, but it's also a novella, so what can I say? Am I faulty for commenting on that? Maybe a little bit. Or not faulty, but is it my own fault for going into a novella and expecting a 300-page novel? I wasn't, but like expecting the same impact a 300-page novel can give you. Maybe a little bit. I did enjoy it though, and I will say it does have a touch of Ali Hazelwood's humor as well, and I like the characters. I feel like she did well with the pages that she was given. So, and it was cute, and it gave a little bit of a Christmassy feel. Just like a little bit. And I think there are more in this one. It's like a thing that Kindle does. They've been doing it for the past maybe 2 years or something. To my knowledge, they might have done it before that, but I actually just remembered I have not had my KU subscription from before that, so I don't know if it's always been a thing. But I remember they did something similar last year where they did like 5 novellas written by popular romance authors that were all Christmas themed in one way or another. And so I believe this time there's the Ali Hazelwood one. There's also the Tessa Bailey one. There's an Olivia Dade one as well, and then I can't remember the last two. But I think I kind of want to give the Tessa Bailey one a try as well, because they're like quick reads, about 70 pages. So another KU read. I've been reading so much on my iPad lately. Like, actually I can show you because I always have my reading journal on the floor so I can keep track of where I'm at. But all of these books have been on iPad. A whole lot of ebooks. But that was the wrap up, so yeah. If you have read any of the books, let me know your thoughts. If you disagree or agree with me, feel free to share if you want to. Nobody's forcing you. You don't have to if you don't want to. And again, if you want to check out the books, I will make sure to leave a link to those that are available, at least, in the description box down below so you can go check them out. I link to both Waterstones and also Amazon, so wherever, if you're in the UK, Waterstones is available, but also if you are in the US, I link to US Amazon, so that's, yeah. Anyway, that is all I got for you guys today though, so I hope you enjoyed this wrap up. I haven't done one in a little while. I felt like it was about time, and I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit ranty, a little bit, just a little bit ranty, but I feel like that's what we do over here, so hope it's okay. But that's all I got for you guys today, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this from me, but also all the other booktube stuff, there's a lot coming up here for the last days before Christmas, so I just have a lot to edit, but it'll be there. So if you enjoyed it, definitely feel free to stick around by clicking on the subscribe button, but I'm gonna leave you to it now, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.